Hi, my name is Halter, and this is my TQA halter training video. TQA is a non-profit designed to help the inexperienced horse owner know what to expect when hiring somebody to work for them in the equine industry, as well as helping employers know what to expect from employees. TQA teaches people how to learn to eliminate resistance while doing a job, and it does this via the training trifecta, which includes task completion, temperament, and foundation. On our halter training score sheet, there are two sections, the task completion and foundation section and the temperament section. In the first section, we have 8 categories, and in the second, we have 6. In this video, I will go over the first section, the task completion and foundation section, with examples. Then I'll go over the temperament section. First, we will start with good to catch. You can see me coming up on his left side, and he's a little bit unsure, as this is only my 8th time working with him this week. But here he's going to let me walk up to him and get that lead rope over his neck. Once I have my tail caught, I'm going to pull him to me so he knows he's caught. Then I'll come back around to his left side with my halter this time, handing it to my right hand under his neck, and taking the nose and coming around his nose instead of up and under, avoiding his spook. Now he takes this really well for being a young horse, only having been worked about 8 times this week. So I'm going to score him at a 1 for good to catch. Next we'll have stage 1 with willing submission and in a crisis. Stage 1 is stopping the inside front foot and moving the other feet forward around it. So what I'm waiting for is him to stop his inside front and move around it. Here he's going to be a little more spooky about it, but he comes around that inside front foot really well. Next we'll do in a crisis. So I'm going to do something really scary, and he's going to come back to me with stage 1. Do it again from the other side. Try and get him to stand. There he goes, and he stage 1's really well. I'll give him a 1.5 on that. Next, we are doing horizontal direction. Horizontal direction can be seen by him breaking in the pole and the loin, and a C around me. I want his eye and ears on me, and I want his inside hind foot stepping up under his navel and his outside hind stepping around. He does a really good job of keeping his attention on me, and he stays moving around me like he should. Another thing that can be noticed here is the flag is over his withers, as a rider would be, and I scored him a 1 on that maneuver. Now we'll go over stage 2, 3, and 4 with willing submission. Stage 2 is pulling the horse backwards with the hindquarters. He does a really good job of stage 2. Here he's kind of missing it. I'm going to wait on him to move those front feet and pull himself backwards with his hinds. There he does it. That was a little bit dull, so I'd score him probably a 0.5 or a 1 on backing. Next we'll go into stage 3, which is the lateral motion of the front and hind feet together, or a side pass. I'd really like to see a crossover of those front feet. He does well in his hinds, but he doesn't cross his front feet, which is okay for a young horse. But for that reason, I'm only scoring him a 1 on side passing. He's trying to get it stepped over, and there he steps over. Next, I'll do stage 4. So stage 4 is stopping the inside hind and walking his feet forward around it. So here, I'm going to go ahead and get him set up. He's a little bit dull, so I'm going to get him moving around again. And there he's set up. So I'm going to ask him for a left haunch turn, or a left stage 4. He steps over well, good cross of his front feet. Then he'll move around with a little bit of horizontal direction, trying to get him to set up again. There he set up all right, but he moved a little bit too much for it to be good. All I want is a couple steps over with his front feet. And you can see he's getting a little bit dull. And that was okay. I'm going to try and set it up to do it again. Give him a better chance to do what he should, and he stepped over better. So I'm going to score him a 1 overall. Here we have good to lead. I want him to follow me. I don't want him in my space when I stop. You can see that he was trying to walk over me a little bit, so I put my arm up and he stopped. Great. And overall, he did pretty well to lead. I'll score him a 1.5. Here we have picking up feet. So I want him to shift his weight and then give me his foot, and he does a good job of that. He doesn't try and take his foot back. He stands square and still. Here, once again, I'll get him to shift his weight and then give me the foot, and he does that really well. And he does a good job of holding his foot up for me, not trying to take it away too. So once again, get him to shift his weight, and then I'll pick up the foot. He's going to try and fight me a little bit on this foot. But as soon as he gives, I give him the foot back. There he waited, so there I gave him his foot back. He did really good with that foot. Never really tried to take it away. Once again, shift his weight, then take the foot. And he did really good with that foot as well. So I'll score him a 1.5 on feet. Next, we have stand quiet, tied up. So all week he did a really good job of standing quiet. And for this drill especially, all we're looking for is that they respect their rope and how they're tied. And they don't try and pull away too much or sit on it or anything that would cause them to be freed. So for this drill, I'm going to try and catch his offside eye and get him to do a stage 1 on the fence. So right here he pulled a little bit and stage 1 to me, which is what I'm looking for. Catch that other eye, and now he's not pulling on his rope, which is what he should be doing. He's doing a really good job of respecting me. Here, he tried to anticipate, so I didn't let him spin around, and there he looked really good. Did a really good job of being tied, so I'll give him a 1.5 on that as well. And last, we have loading in a trailer. So with this, I don't want to be dragging him into the trailer. I want it to be his idea. So I'm going to walk him up and let him think about it. And then I'll ask once or twice, just a little bit. And ultimately, it's his idea to get in the trailer. He does a great job with that. And then here, I'm going to stand him where he would be tied and have him be really comfortable there. And then once he's comfortable, I'll let him walk out. And I want to make sure that he's not walking through me. And then he's taking his time and getting out calm. And he does a great job of that. I'll score him a 1.5 on the trailer as well. Here in the temperament category, for self-preservation, which is their fight or flight response, he's on the lower side, which means he was more ready for the client, and I'll put him at a 1 there. Next, we have confidence. And you want a horse with a little more confidence to fill in for an inexperienced rider. And I scored him at a 1, which meant he was on the higher side and more ready for the client. Next, we have willingness or willing submission, or willingness to respond to a request, with the high side of the score being the willing side. I scored him at a 1 here as well because he was willing to respond to me more often than not. Next, we have our reaction to social separation, or as some people call it, mothered up. And the high side of the scale would be the calmer side. I scored him at a 1.5 here as well because very little did he ever care about being mothered up to everybody else. And next we have our energy side of this energy category, which is their motivation and determination. The higher side to be ready for the client. I went ahead and put him at a 0 here because his energy was high at sometimes and low at others, which is expected of a baby. But I was very happy with his energy and determination. And last we have our sensitivity, which is a response to light pressure, with the high side being responsive and ready for the client. And I went ahead and scored him at a 1 here because he was responsive enough, but he wasn't as sensitive as he possibly could be. And this other sheet, I have what I worked on throughout the week, with the numbers being the dates and the A being afternoon, M being morning. If you look through them, you can see that I worked with him 8 times throughout the 5 days that we worked with these horses. And he had some up and downs in his improvements on all the scores, but overall, he improved from day 1 to day 5, which is exactly what we expect out of him.